Let's talk about the Rockets right now. That's the team right ahead of the Clippers in the Western Conference, and they are on fire. 10 straight wins, and they're coming off a game where they broke the record. They had a 22 three-pointer game earlier in the week, and then they had a 24 three-pointer game over the weekend to set the NBA record. How do you like this offense being able to continue this all the way into the postseason?
I think the offense could certainly continue it. They're going to throw up a ton of threes. I mean, Friday night, man, they took 94 shots. 61 of them were threes. Two-thirds of their shots were three-point shots. And I've been calling the Rockets lately the kings of the shot chart. Because the shot charts are amazing when you look at them. It's everything beyond the arc, everything in the paint, nothing in that mid-range. Here's the thing with the Rockets. Can they keep it up offensively? There's no doubt. They're a fantastic offensive team. And you know, having Eric Gordon healthy is a huge, huge element for them, as is having Beverly healthy. And historically, we know these are two players that have struggled to stay healthy. So everything's a caveat based upon having those two guys on the floor, because it's not good enough to have one. They need them both. Here's the thing with the Rockets, though. You have to be able to stop people in the half court come playoff time, and that's my big worry with them. I think that they have no issue stopping inferior opponents. They have no issue being able to shut down the New Orleans Pelicans team, even though they haven't always. They have no issue necessarily if they have to shut down Oklahoma City at a certain point in time. I can't see this team, and I know they beat Golden State in Golden State, but they pretty much outscored them. That's not going to happen for them if they play Golden State in a 7-game series. You have to come to a certain point where you get stops. And as critical as I am, guys, of Golden State's defense, I think Houston's defense is a lot worse. And I think for Houston here, and they've played great, don't get me wrong, they've also feasted on a little bit of a light schedule lately. It hasn't been all that tough for them. As it gets tougher, they face better offensive teams. They spend some time in the Eastern Conference against some better teams as well. I think that for them, we're going to see how good that defense is and see what kind of test they can have. There's no doubt with the way Harden is playing, the way Harden is leading, that this is as prolific an offense as we have in the league this side of Golden State, and they're terrific offensively. But to me, the proof's going to be in what they do on the defensive end of the floor. That's where I still have questions. Listen, I'll say this, guys. I didn't even have them in the playoffs. My biggest miss of the preseason was the Houston Rockets. So I've been underestimating them since the summer. I continue to underestimate them a little bit. They continue to prove me wrong. We'll see what shakes out.
I tell you, though, Geltzeiler, look, I don't know what mood I'm in here on this Monday that I keep combating you on every end and coming back on you. But I just want to ask you about this, because I like the fact that Houston, unlike what we saw with Mike D'Antoni in Phoenix, they've got Patrick Beverly. He's a shutdown defender on the perimeter. You have Trevor Ariza, a shutdown defender. You have Clint Capella guarding the rim. This is a different team. I don't know. I kind of like the potential. Now, they're not always showing it, but they have the potential to actually be a pretty good defensive team.
Here's the thing. They've played a light schedule, and they're in the 20s in defensive efficiency. So, yeah, I agree with you to the extent that there are some decent individual defenders here, and Beverly's the most important defensive player on this team. And that counts Capella for how important he is as well. Here's the thing when it comes to playing the wide-open, up-tempo, ton of threes system that they play. It puts a strain on the defense. It puts a strain on your transition defense. When you're missing threes, there's a lot of long rebounds. Other teams have breakout opportunities. Now, granted, that feeds the Rockets' tempo. But when you hit the playoffs and you get against more talented teams, that type of style, especially if you're not going to, listen, they were 17 of 51 on Saturday night in an overtime win in New Orleans. Again, it's 33%. It's below average, but you're giving another team a whole lot of opportunities in the open floor when you're missing that volume of threes. Puts a ton of pressure on a defense. Hard to keep a defense together in that respect. Now, the flip side that you're right about, Michael, is that they've had a couple of grinding games, especially 2 Fridays ago in OKC, where they won a grinder, where they played tough half-court defense late in the game with the 3 guys that you're talking about. So it can be there at certain points in time. When you look at the top of the league and you look at who they're going to have to go through to truly advance in the playoffs, I do have some worries that they're going to be able to defend well enough against those types of teams.